Yo, what's going on? We have got a big get on the podcast tonight. Some would say the biggest. Starting off the new year with probably the biggest guest I've ever had, the homie Nick Shabazz, the Shabat man.
Hey, everybody, Nick here.
Cheers and Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Thank you, and same to you, of course.
First, I got to ask, right? What made you decide to come back on?
Honestly, sorry, like Ryan and I have already been talking. It's already got me freaking laughing, and it's been a long day. So you gotta get behind the scene. No, the thing is, this guy, right? He's hilarious, right? We chat in DM on occasion, and it's just like, okay, yeah, I should talk more with this guy. So it's simply for the joy of it, right? This is always. I like podcasts, but I'm always happy to chat with somebody who's entertaining to me. That sounds like a win, right?
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's a really huge favor to me in the channel, you know. And I remember earlier today, did you just do something?
No, I just oofed.
That sounded like I cut myself, kind of oof. Like, you know what I mean?
No. That was just like, if I'm a favor to your channel, then your channel needs better favors.
I mean, you know what? How does it feel, actually? Because I started watching you when you were like I want to say it was like maybe 16,000 subs or less, right? Is when I started watching you. And how does it feel now that you've become this? I know it's going to sound kind of douchey or cliche or whatever it is.
To be this knife on the table.
To be this kind of like voice that a lot of people pay attention to in the community. Like you could, make or break sales kind of.
Oof.
And how does that feel, man?
It's weird. It's so weird. Look, there is an effect, right? It's like in The Office, Idris Elba, yes, I'm aware that I have some effect on women. Yes, I'm aware I have some effect on sales. At some level it feels good, but there's also a level of just like, holy crap, my weird little hobby thing actually has an effect on the world now. And I don't know how I feel about that, right? It's like if people are betting on your golf game, it's like, I'm just making videos here. But okay, sure, why not, right? There is a joy to it. And, I appreciate the people who trust me enough to take my recommendations with anything more than the tiny-ass grain of salt they deserve. But, it's been a joy. And it's a joy to make, to be able to hook people up. Ferrum Forge Stinger here. A great little piece that I don't think that many folks heard of. And it's just like to be able to make those recommendations and get people a joy, that is a win to me. So
the Stinger. I watched. So the only two pieces of content that I've watched is I've been watching this new it's not a new podcast, but it's a comedy podcast called Are You Garbage? Where it's like they determine if you grew up garbage or not, and your financial status does not determine whether you are classy or trash, because even a rich person could be trashy.
Oh yeah.
And they give you questions like, what supermarket did your family shop at when you grew up? And I just asked my girl that before I hopped on, and she's like, Price Lion. I'm like, garbage.
Price Lion. I've never even heard of it.
Anyway, like all I did was just watch that podcast. And today I made time to watch your Gear of the Year video.
Oh, nice.
And you did the Stinger. Man, I love the Stinger too. It's one of the budget knives, although, kind of on the high price side, right? Since it is $90. That was one of the ones I really enjoyed. I didn't have one. Someone sent it in for loan. Definitely enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The 80-20 over there. I see that.
Yeah, I just figured I'd pull out some of the contenders if we're talking Gear of the Year, right?
Yep.
The Stinger is great. It really is. And actually the Rhea is yet another one of those contenders. Have you had one of these?
It's funny. Our good buddy Slicey Dicey sent me the worst Rhea, the one with the carbon fiber on it.
Oh yeah.
I still liked it though. I still get division, you know what I mean? Like, and then I started looking at the other materials and I'm like, man, it would be nice if I had this one. It's funny because when Slicey sent it to me, he was like, dude, I want you to keep this one, but it is the worst one out of all the models of this knife. It's the one with
it
like
sounds a lot
laminate.
like Slicey, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, this is yours, it's trash, it's yours. Yeah. Oh, the Rhea.
But yeah, I also watched your Ask the Chick.
Oh God.
And she just got, I didn't watch the whole thing. I got it to about maybe the 20-minute mark, and she I got up to the part where she was looking at the 80/20.
Yeah.
And she used like terms like this blade looks douchey, and then she talked about the Norseman.
Oh,
and then the Razor Cliff was like $200 or something.
Hey, you know, look, it's a high-end piece. What can I say?
You know what's funny? I checked that one out through the Apex Fast Round group.
Yeah.
And so many people complained about it that Blade Banner said, look, we got to send it back to CRKT to get fixed.
You know, mine is
I
great,
liked it though.
but
I liked it. Yeah, I liked it.
It's a solid little knife. This was actually in the running for budget of the year, but there was enough variation that I was hearing about from people to make it kind of
We had a lot of lock stick on the model that was going around with us.
Which is impressive because it is steel on steel.
Yeah.
But you know, hey, skill.
It was like getting stuck. It was like it was funky. It was funky. There was like some grinding in it. But that's the QC with the the lower budget knives, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a thing, right? It is a whole affair. So I'm heartened to see that they're doing more of John Graham's designs, but they need to just go up a notch, please, please.
He's got another one coming out in 2021. I think CRKT, right? Am I wrong on this?
Yeah, no, you're right. They're doing an assisted version of the GT because now apparently the Speed Safe Assist is out of patent protection, and CRKT has looked at their calendar and seen 2005 and decided, hey, let's make assisted knives.
Oof.
And so yeah, that's not the way I would have gone with things, but okay.
Man. Cricket Swift. That's what they're gonna call it.
I have no idea.
Man. How has this whole pandemic affected your content creation? I know we were chatting about that a little bit earlier in our little group chat of ours, and it's definitely affected me, but I want to know what your experience has been.
Look, I'm a very lucky person in a lot of ways in that with the pandemic, I have been busier than ever rather than less busy. My actual freaking day job ratcheted my responsibility way up, but I was able to keep working from home, right? In fact, I was supervising the transition to home for a bunch of folks, right? So that's been really busy, and then the channel. This is a beautiful time to be a YouTuber, right? Like everyone's stuck at freaking home, nothing else to do. Like, hey, I'm going to watch some jackass rant about knives. Like that makes sense now and never will in the history of civilization again. So, in that way, it's been a very good time. But at the same time, I gotta be real with you. It's not been straightforward, right? I've been lucky in that it's not gotten anyone too close to me. But still, there's a lot of emotional freaking burden in all of this, right? And so it's difficult for me sometimes, even though it's difficult for me to get up in the morning and be like, okay, well, let's give it my all when reviewing this, $40 liner lock that no one's going to give a damn about in 3 weeks. The Sen cut, blah 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 blah. Like. Can't get ahead of steam up there, alas.
That's a question I have for you, actually. Like, how do you feel about that move of wheat, I guess, where they got the Civivi line moving into the $70 to $100 range, probably. And you've got the Sen cut from like, 40 to 50, 30 to 50 or something like that?
I was just thinking, you know what we need? Another Chinese budget brand. I mean, for the love of all things holy, I don't have a problem with more budget knives. That's great. But good Lord, you had Civivi. Why? And then the fact that they launched, like, look, Sencut, they're welcome to do whatever the hell they would like with their brand. That's completely fine, and I'm perfectly fine with we having a more strong presence on the budget end, and even doing an Amazon brand. Maybe it'll take some of the attention away from the clones and stuff. But for the love of God, you launched this brand with the two most forgettable designs I have ever seen. Like, holy crap! It's, I'm asleep halfway through the review of the damn thing. It's like you look up knife, and it's like, yeah, this, but less inspired. It's like, oh my God. So I think Sencut, like my entire review of the, what is it, Sidious or something like that, is just like, why? Why are you doing this, Civivi? Like, and it's $40 too. It's not actually cheap.
Somebody made a comment that this is the fracture that they released, that slip joint they released a little while ago. The Civivi fracture. That this is basically a fracture, but a flipper. You know what it is? I talked to Russell from Artisan Cutlery, and he was like, man, we moved all the production to budget stuff because that's like what's just flying off the shelves right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's just where the money is being made, is like that range. And I think
it's a great idea, right? And I think it's great to have lots of stuff in the budget, but you need to fucking try, right? $40 is not cheap. Like, I know that in the knife market it is. In a world where $700 on a pocket knife is ridiculous, but it makes sense to people who aren't my wife. But you need to actually, when you've got like this is the Artisan Arroyo.
I love that
right?
knife.
Have you had one of these?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's good. I love it. Love it.
It's
man.
a really good design. It's worth a damn. This knife has, like, I can see recommending this to somebody for a reason other than it is sitting on the table in front of you and it cuts things, right? Or the Rhea is a design that is worth a damn. Yes. It is a good design, but the problem is everybody's making good knives for $40 now. Like Civivi, or Sencut or whatever, that's not enough. You need to design it right. You need to do something, like the Centros, another this is a CJRB Artisan affair. This is a good design. It looks nice. It works well. Like, then it is good. But you can't just drop a knife at $40 and assume, oh, okay, they'll buy it. If there's absolutely nothing, or even, what is it, the Otis? Have you had one of these guys?
That's the Civivi. The Otis. Is it the Otis?
Otis, Otis,
or Ortis with an R, I think. Ortis.
Yeah, one of them.
This or that, or this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ortis. Do you like that one or this? But this is a nice design. It's clear that somebody spent more than 5 minutes working on the damn thing in the run up to, throwing it on the machines. And I appreciate it, but it's just like you can't start a new budget brand with the most forgettable designs ever, right? I mean, if you asked me to pick a freaking Sidious out of a lineup now, having done the review 4 days ago, I don't think I could, especially if you mix it in with a bunch of other. So there's no problem with budget stuff, and good budgety stuff. And given $100 is not quite budget these days, but still, good budget designs can be a wonderful thing, but you have to do them right. Cheap isn't good enough when everything is cheap. So that's my feeling on Sencut, is like, okay, cool. You made a new brand. Now actually make a knife I give a crap about, and we'll talk.
Is that why I don't know if you checked out the Pintail or not by Civivi?
No, I don't think I did.
It's the S35EN. I had the one with the micarta S35EN blade. I think it's like $80. And I thought it was good value for what you're getting. But like my main complaint about it was it looks just like the Civivi Shard. It looks like the Wee Knives Rectifier. Looks exactly like, I put them side by side and I was like, look, this is the same thing. If you want these materials, this is a good knife to get if you want to just pay $80.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like the design is what we are moving into an era, I think, when everybody is making good knives. What's going to sell knives is design. It's going to sell, people are going to look at it and go like, wow, that's unique. That's different. That's good. That looks nice. That's it's really intelligently thought out. The Ortis is it's a knife that somebody clearly put some thought into all the details on. That's what's going to start selling knives more than, hey, it flips well and it's $40 in D2. It's like, no, that's not enough anymore.
It was, and I think before, Civivi right?
For a while.
Before,
Civivi was
for a
the
while.
only people doing that reliably.
Yes.
Right. But now it's just like, no, you can't do that anymore. You need to actually spend time, and maybe if you don't launch 50 knives this week, we can talk about that. But for the love of God, grow a filter. And by the way, I'm not just beating up on Civivi here. Artisan looking at you, CJRB looking at you, CRKT looking at you.
Yeah.
All of these, Gerber, oh God, Gerber. All of these folks just need to like calm your pivots and just work on some designs. Release one that you give a damn about, your fans give a damn about, rather than just like, send it, which is the Civivi slogan. Send it.
Send it.
And it's like, okay, you didn't need to send this.
Like, calm your pivots, easy on the KPL. just
exactly,
relax a little bit. Yeah,
doing?
There is too many models coming out. I mean, it's gotten to the point where a knife reviewer like me doesn't even need to buy knives anymore, because so many knives are coming out and so many knives are being sent to me by viewers or pass arounds or whatever, that I've bought literally 2 knives the whole year. Like, it's insane. And too many models, man. I can't keep up anymore. I can't. It's so hard.
Exactly. And the problem isn't that there were so many brand new novel models. The problem is that there were so many forgettable ones. That's the thing. There were knives that still jump out at people where it's still amazing, but it's just the signal to noise ratio is really low, right? You've got like 10 good releases out of the year. Maybe that's not fair, but it feels that way sometimes out of 400 new models. It's like, these days where you wake up in the morning, you're like scrolling through Instagram, you're like, 6 new Chinese knives today. Like, okay, do I give a damn about any? Nope. Okay, good. Moving on. Scroll.
Yeah, that's definitely how it's been feeling when I'm scrolling through my Instagram. Let's go back to the content creation part of it, right?
Sure.
Are you feeling like less? Well, you did say that it is harder to be creative, right?
Yeah, it can be. And look, at some level, I'm lucky in that my creative process is less like, okay, you are a creative reviewer in video, but like your editing is amazingly creative. What I do is I sit there and I look at knives and I say things that are mostly facts about the knives, given some opinions mixed in, like fact about knife, Nick Shabazz's opinion. And I group it. So like at some level, creativity isn't that much of a, like I don't want to say phone it in, but a lot of what I'm doing is sort of just investigatory, basically, just like, how does this thing perform? Is this worth a damn in the hand, etc. But what I do find is that it's harder for me to really get up the enthusiasm, for me to do something a little bit above and beyond. That to me is what's been most difficult. I can absolutely make you a good review of the Arroyo just because, and especially
you
this
like
one's
it.
easier. Yeah, it's a good knife.
Yeah,
something I'm going to actually recommend to somebody. But that was one of the changes I've kind of made, is just like I've made a habit now of saying to more makers, like, and even just to myself, like, I'm going to buy something, and like, if I don't give a crap about it, if I'm like opening up the box and I'm like, why did I just open this box? I'm going to put it right back in the box and send it home or sell it to a patron or something like that, because it's not worth the 3 hours of my life to write the review, let alone the day of my life carrying the damn thing. So I've tried to kind of be a little more choosy and really focus on pieces that I think merit the consideration, where the design, where something of that, and to do the gem hunting thing, to look for the stuff that's really good, that's that makes me enthusiastic, that surprises me in some way, and that I think could be interesting to folks who aren't me too.
My strategy with that has been like, I do a lot of unboxings. And if if it doesn't jump at me, that's the only content you're going to get, is that unboxing. Maybe I'll do a little TikTok-y thing about it. And then, and I'll put it on IG Reels and take an Instagram picture and maybe post one picture on Twitter. But I don't do the reviews anymore if it's not like absolutely outstanding. Or if it's just like really bad too. If something is really good, it's easy to review it. And if something is really bad, it's easy to review it.
Yeah. And certainly there were interestingly bad is a thing, right? Like, what was it? The Gerber Highbrow or something like that. The little assisted axis lock with a safety, and like, that was kind of a mess, right? But at the same time, it was a fascinating mess. It was something that I think merited the time of like, it's like why you slow down for a car wreck, right?
Everybody does that.
Exactly. So I think there is a role for that, but I think you're really wise just in terms of, I wish I had started doing that earlier. But in some ways, it's also a perk of the position I'm in that I can say to a maker, look, if I don't give a damn about what you're sending, I'm just going to send it back, and that's going to be the way it is. There's a bit of a my way or the highway in there that only works well when your way actually is attractive to them. Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. I'm a very lucky person. And, I've worked hard and to get to the point where I can do that, but it's definitely made life easier. But the thing is, it's win-win too, because I think, no maker wants a full-on, Nick Shabazz on blast. I don't even want to do this review, and here I am. Like, that's a dangerous thing for them too. So I think everybody ends up feeling happier that way, but it's still just like, yeah, you're wise, I think, to kind of really limit your time a little bit and say, this isn't worth beyond just an unboxing. And for me, I don't even do the unboxing for stuff that's just terrible, because I don't want to be asking questions or answering questions about it. Because then it's just like people are going to pull the review out of me. No, well, what did you think of the pivot? What did you like, dude? The knife, don't buy the knife. Don't do it. What I think is no.
So your Gear of the Year video, did you script that?
Yeah. To an extent.
How scripted is it? I always ask people this, because I know there's a lot of your own personality imbued in that video, but I just want to know, like, how much of it is like written and how much of it is improv.
So what I usually do is I will write out just a text document with like bullet points. And the bullet points are going to look something like, as I'm talking about, let's see here, as I'm talking about the Malibu here, I might have a bullet point that says like recessed button lock, because I want to highlight that as a part of my review, because I know it'll make things better if I do that. Right. So I'll have a bullet point in there.
That sounds beautiful, man. That
nice Damascus. Yeah.
Wow, nice freaking knife. So nice. Yeah. I haven't gotten to try that one yet, but I know that everyone loves it.
Oh, after this, give me a shipping address. I'll send you. I'll let you spend some quality time with this little dude here.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send a care package your way. That's no problem. So yeah, we should talk about that. But no, okay. So I'll have bullets like, recessed button lock button, smooth action, thin edge. But beyond that, then that'll turn into, as I'm looking at it, one of the other nice things I like here is that the button lock here is not sticking out, but it's flush, it's recessed. This makes it hard. And so it just kind of reminds me, there are a bunch of reminders of like, hey, jackass, you need to talk about this thing over here too. And like, oh, don't forget to mention the lanyard hole, because the lanyard hole is really nice. And so I'll end up with like probably 50 bullet points in a review, and organized good, great, bad, and ugly. And that way I can kind of sort through things and put them in an order that makes some sense. But, I don't write out every word I'm going to say, because honestly, then I'm going to talk. Well, people already say I don't talk right, but I'm going to talk even less right. Right? People are going to look at it and just be like, wow, that's really stilted, that's stiff, etc. This way I can have my own personality, but still cover the stuff I got to cover.
How much time do you spend on it? Because this is something that I am interested in doing, because I used to do that, right? When I used to do the more elaborate reviews with the what's dope about it, what's whack about it stuff that I used to do, which of course was inspired by what you were doing. I just put a New York spin on it, basically.
Oh yeah, hey, no, that's completely.
Or do you forget about it? That was my bad. What's dope about it? What's whack about it? Or do you forget about it? Not bad. I don't use it.
I like that.
I don't use it anymore. But
that's a Sencut slogan right there. Sencut, forget about it. Sorry, I shouldn't beat up on them, but how did they launch on the wrong foot?
Oh man. But yeah, like I used to spend a lot of time, and then people liked it, right? But then I would watch it and I'm like, oh, it sounds stiff to me, because I know my own self, right? Like it seems like I'm because I was scripting it too much, So I'm trying to find a good balance to doing that, because I like writing stuff too. But how much time do you spend on that usually?
Oh,
Like,
it varies video to video. Usually, for me, a given review is going to be like, okay, you give me like the Civivi orders here. This is not like an incredibly difficult thing to review. It's not doing anything, completely groundbreaking or anything like that, but it's got enough nuance there. So I'll spend, 30 minutes on the disassembly, including all the uploading and such, and then carry it for a day or 2 or 3 or 4, depending on how much time I feel like I need with the piece to understand it. And then, actually writing the review could be 2 hours or something like that.
That's why you're
usually
so good,
it's 2
man.
hours, but it's like I'm also in the, the other window with my patrons on Discord, or I've also, let me stop and get more tea because I'm freaking addicted or something like that. But and then actually filming the review is, usually I'm doing one shot, one take, 20 minutes, and then 30 to upload or something like that. It's usually for a big batch. But I spend too much time scripting those things. But like the Gear of the Year video, that was an 8-hour video, easy.
I could see that.
I freaking agonized over every element of it. And it was just like, okay, hold on. Am I putting the void in here, or is it the micro typhoon? But what about the whippersnapper? The whippersnapper should be in here. It's great. But then no, hold on. And so that, for me, actually writing it wasn't as hard as just like sitting there and going, oh God, what goes in here? What's the budget knife of the year? Can I put in the Roosevelt? It's good, but it's not available. Just the suffering there was incalculable in the very best of ways. So, that one took me freaking forever, but still it ended up as just a series of bullet points. And sometimes the exception to the bullet point is if there's something I need to say very carefully. If there's something that is like, how do we say it? Sensitive.
I thought you were gonna say racially flavored, but then I was like just thinking with my comedic brain. I was like, that's not what he's gonna say.
Yes, I try to make all these racist statements about pocket knives. Well, these ballad songs. Anyways,
damn Filipinos.
You said it, not me. You said it.
I can't get canceled. Right. I'm from there.
Oh, okay, good. In that case, problem solved. We've wanted the cancellation. No, more for me, it's like if there's a certain nuance or something like that. If I want to say, like this, because you never want to make a claim that is like patently false or that is defamatory. But if you want to state an opinion that is not great, you might think about how to phrase that properly. You might think about, or like, trying to figure out how to say something, like, for instance, that is going to be hot buttony. So like, I don't like, for instance, that they are like, okay, with Sencut, I don't particularly care for the fact that they're selling mostly on Amazon when the distributor network is what made We and Civivi what they are today, right? No one would know about We knives if it weren't for companies like your Blade HQs and your Knife Works, Knife Center, all of those folks selling them. So that feels a little bit, especially right now, that strikes me as tone deaf. But it's very important that if I'm going to go that route, that I say it properly, that I phrase it well so that people aren't going like, oh, Nick hates Amazon, Nick hates China, Nick hates, or something like that. So when I feel like I'm in dangerous territory, then I will often write out a statement that really tries to capture what I'm saying efficiently. Then in the filming, I will completely butcher it and then probably have to redo the thing, but still.
Yeah. So no edits at all, huh? This is just like, it's got to be good, that one shot.
I used to do it. I used to edit the heck out of things. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm talking to you. I used to do a little editing. Like what I used to do is like, I would film the introduction, then I would pause and I would film the good, pause, film the bad, pause, film the ugly, etc. And then recombine them at the end. But then I realized at a certain point, it was just like, holy crap, I can keep going. And like I so seldom screwed things up beyond repair that it was more efficient to just power through. Wow. And it helps that I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of talking and all that kind of stuff. So it makes it I'm a little more equipped to speak on my feet, so to speak, but only maybe in 1 out of 6, 1 out of 8 videos do I end up screwing up so bad that I like chop it off at the bad, ugly transition and like, okay, we're going to have to edit this one. We're going into post here. And I'm also willing to acknowledge that, look, viewers have expected a certain amount of, shall we say, scuff in my videos, such that if I accidentally say artisan when I mean alliance or vice versa,
I do that all the time too.
I know, and especially when you film
bad.
one after the other, it's just like, oh God, I have no chance of this.
Yeah. What I feel really bad about is when someone sends me something and I like completely screw up the name. I feel so bad about it. But it's just like I tell people, I make it clear that my memory is total dog shit. Like I look like a little kid, but I'm 40 years old and this brain has been through a lot. You know what I mean? I was DJing for 10 years of my life. There's not much left. Not much left.
Yeah, the bass is kind of you got some DBI, you know? From the bass coming in there.
It's just all gray matter in there. It's like the brain's not even pink anymore. But you know, I tell people I'm sorry and stuff. I want to talk about I know that you've gone on Twitch a little bit. Have you been gaming at all, like in this pandemic?
Yes and no. I had a little bit of time to do it over the summer. But in practice, like from September to mid-December, I had no gaming time at all. Whoa. Like, I'm sorry, it's not true. I played some Factorio, but that wasn't gaming so much as self-preservation. But you know, so I didn't really have the time to get into there. I do enjoy it a lot. It's a great kind of experience, but as somebody who is kind of terminally busy, I just don't often have the time to really dive into it as much as I'd like it. It's like, well, I could spend the next, 45 minutes playing Hades or something like that. Or I could actually film a review that somebody's waiting on, right? And it's real hard for the adult in me to let that lose. Or do something for my day job, right?
I have a problem with procrastination, actually, but I don't know if I do or not, because, with content creation, I feel like you should make or talk about what you want to talk about, right? And the majority of my time is spent like watching like true nerdy stuff. Like I'm a nerd of every walk of life. Like I watch Star Trek, I watch anime, I watch DC movies, the animated ones. I watch. I think since like September till now, I probably have watched like 200 movies, like new ones that I've never seen before. And I write like mini reviews and plot points on Letterboxd, which is kind of like a social media app for movie reviewing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I find like I do have a schedule of like how I do things, right? Like every morning I'll do the TikToks and the Twitter and the IG post or whatever, and then I'll probably do a review or an unboxing. This is like in the morning.
So you're flossing in the morning?
Yeah, it's like I'm like doing a TikTok, like, oh, you mean like hitting the whoa with the Mannix too? Like, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, you know what I do on TikTok? It's like I just do a 15-second video with the knife closed too. Oh, it's really weird because they the reason why I got into it, I haven't brought this up really, like around the guys, if you know what I mean, because TikTok is this really obscure, almost shameful thing to knife YouTubers.
Oh, come on. I don't think there's any shame in it at all. I think you're brilliant for mining on ground that no one else is mining.
Well, one guy who's also a knife YouTuber right now, not even a year in, he's like 6K subs already. I think 5K on Instagram, almost 230K on TikTok, right?
Good Lord.
Yeah, this guy gets views that we only dream about. I'm talking like 40 to 80,000 views a video every day, and he does like 3 or 5 videos a day. I talked to him on a podcast, and he basically gave me the formula of how to do it. He was like, look, you got to get creative with it. You can't really flip the knife open. If you do, you got to make sure the tip is like not in camera. But it's really bad. It's really bad. But also, right, like, he's tackling it sort of in the new guard way of content creator, which is like, I want to actually make money from this, right? He has a good job. I think he builds like computers or something for gamers and stuff. But he was like, I just make 3 to 5 15-second videos every day, and that's how I grew so big. So when I first got on it, before I met him, I was just bordering on like 200 followers, just not really going anywhere. And then that 15-second video thing, I post like maybe once or twice a day, and I grew like by 3,000 in like a month and a half. So like I'm just gonna keep it going. But that's the thing. It's like it's another avenue for my stuff to get discovered.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and I get to be a little hip about it. Like,
oh, sure.
I feel embarrassed though the way I talk on it. Because I don't talk like this even to you guys. Like, I'm like, check out the G10 scales, my guy. And that's so not me. But I'm trying to reach.
Hold on. You have 15 seconds. What knife is on your table?
What do you mean?
What do you have on your table right now?
I have a Manix 2. That's what I carry.
Give me the TikTok review right now. Go.
Oh. So I'll be like this. I'm like, yo, this is the Spyderco Manix 2, and then I'll put like the price of it and what it's called, the name, and then I'll be like a ball bearing lock, and then I'll show the CPM S110V, but like close up, and I'll be like CPM S110V blade. I'll make it kind of like hip a little bit for the kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And dude, it works, man. Like some of the views, some of my videos hit like 200,000 views. I'm like, what the hell is happening? You know, because
that's amazing.
But it's like, you know, you're reaching kids that are also interested in EDC and also like adults, man. I see a lot of people that have hopped onto my YouTube after they found me on TikTok, and I'm like, you know what's crazy is like, I always plug you that you were a guest on my podcast. I'm like, yeah, I do a podcast too, man. I've had Shabazz on, and everybody's like, what? And then they sub to me on YouTube. You know, it's just another avenue, you know, to kind of like get my stuff out there. You know, we have a bunch of fan questions for you. So
yeah, go for it.
I think we're gonna get to it right now. Let me get my documents here. Okay, so we got, have you ever reviewed a knife you knew was a gem the second you held it? And which one? Let's narrow that down to like this year, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
That's from Shinobs_EDC.
Shinobs, okay. Knew it was a gem the second I held it. Probably actually the Quiet Carry Waypoint's not a bad example of this. Because it's just like, you know, I'm now to the point. This isn't a flex. This is how weird my brain is. Like I can walk up to a table at a knife show. Those used to be a thing, kids, back in the day. And you know, I can just like pick something up, take a look at it, you know, give it the once over, and be like, I can have a really good sense of like, okay, this is going to be worth a damn. And, you know, you'll see me do the same thing each time, like pick it up, flip it out. Okay, action's decent. Check for play. Oh, yeah, how's the grind? Oh, grind's good. Oh, close is nice. Accessibility is good. Give it a nice hard grip. A little bit of a hot spot. And, you know, but it's becoming much easier for me to do that kind of in an instant. Usually I'm maybe 60% of the way to my final review within 30 seconds of holding the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can spot a lot of the big guys, you know, a lot of the things that are going to make it or break it in either direction pretty quickly. So like with the Waypoint, it was just like Van X, holy crap, thin blade, thin stock, good ergos, nice. Yeah, this is going to be a gem. The question is, and I don't usually say that. I like, okay, hold on, back it up there, sailor. But at the same time, it's, and I'm not a sailor, by the way, no stolen valley here, but still. I can barely roll. I can barely do a kayak. But anyways, yeah. So this is a good example, though, of one where it was just like, yeah, this is going to be a gem. The question is how bright it's shining.
You know what's
like
crazy?
This guy.
When you were describing that, like the way you, you know, pick up a knife and like check for things. Yeah, that is real knife YouTube guy shit right there. Because in my head, I was like, oh my God, we all do the same thing. Like, yes, you know, you like feel for it. It's like we're all trying to discover like what's wrong with it or what's great about it, like right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing too is like when I see videos or pictures of something on like social media, the brand new knife is the Southern Knives Mini Toll. But you know, if I see like the conventional pictures that you see on social media, like this. Mm-hmm. And then usually like this, right? Mm-hmm. And then maybe if you're lucky, you're going to get like a close up of the blade. But those don't give me the information I need. Like I want this picture. How thick is the damn thing? Because there have been so many times where I buy a knife like, oh, this looks great. And then it's like,
it's like,
thick,
thicker than a Snickers. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Thick boy there.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, the back of the blade is hanging out this way. That's not the flipper tab. That's the blade heel.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of thing. So it's like, I think you're right. There is definitely a feeling of like, okay, you're a knife geek. Because just walking up, watching somebody at a table at a show, it's like, okay, you've done this before.
Yeah.
And like, well, what angle are you? If you're looking at the knife, down this angle, it's like, okay, you're weird. But I know what weird you are. Hi.
You know what I check for a lot now is like, especially on a knife that's like 150 plus.
Yeah.
If I could squish my finger on the bottom and like cut myself with the blade.
Yeah.
I freaking hate that because I've cut myself like that, like reaching into my pocket. Because I have like I have a lot in my pocket. I wear like slim fits, I'm pretending like a young kid. And then I cut myself so many times on the index finger because that part, like this, the Manix doesn't have it, but like you'll go in there and like a chunk will just get cut.
Yeah. What was it? The Chavez, the latest one, the Liberation.
That got you?
No, it didn't get me. That's because I saw that. I was like, okay, I'm afraid of this now. Let's back off. But I've definitely gotten bitten that way. That's one of those things that's like, no, how did this leave the factory? Did nobody stop you and say, hey, bad idea, stop, thwack, no, bad? There were a lot of good things about that knife, but that was not among them. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, at higher price points, man, you just can't really, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that, I think.
Safety, I think, is something that can't have a price point. It's just like, no, it sucks no matter. I don't care how freaking cheap it is. No, absolutely not. And there were knives like, okay, this is the TRM Shadow. And by the way, I'm hearing the comment is, oh my God, I can't buy one. Sorry.
How is that, by the way?
It's good. It's actually quite good. The only gripe I really have, and like the axis lock is sticking out. I'm sorry, the sliding bar lock is sticking out a little bit, but aside from that, it's good. It's a nice design.
The expired patent lock.
Exactly. Yes, the expired patent lock aside, it's pretty excellent. But this is a little close in the back, but it's not actually dangerous because it's relatively thin blade stock. But it's when you see, the person with, the blade stock that's 3 inches thick and you're just like, this is going to cut me. Like I smell this cutting me already.
Yeah.
Like my spidey sense is tingling. Like I will be under attack soon.
I'm looking at these questions here, and like this strange person said, "How are your hands so beautiful, you brilliant man?" And it's you. Which is
what can I say? I wanted to throw in a softball in case you were going crazy.
Let's see. Let's get another one here. What's your favorite
with nano oil?
Oh,
no, I do not. That's not a health recommendation.
What's your favorite breakfast? That is from the homie Zach Stuff.
Oh, Zach Stuff. He's great. Favorite breakfast. I'm gonna go with like absolute favorite breakfast would be like French toast or something like that, right? I mean, you can get all like serious with breakfast, like, oh yes. But my favorite breakfast that I will actually make for myself, which is a very different category, because my definition of good food is like, is it in me and done? Yes, good. Okay. Like I'm not a high effort eater. But Costco, are you familiar with Costco?
Of course.
Okay, I would hope so. I didn't know if that was a New York thing, right? Okay. And look,
we also have BJ's.
Oh, yeah. Okay, same
I
thing.
think it's the more trash version of Costco.
I ain't judging anybody on the basis of their garbaggity for the
garbaggio beans. That's what you get there.
Exactly. But like Costco has these things where it's like a milk carton with dried hash browns in them, like with shredded potatoes, and you just add boiling water, and 12 minutes later you pour it into a pot with some oil on it, and you have this just wealth of hash browns in front of you. And like this is the kind of thing that is my speed, because it's like put water in thing, wait 12 minutes to go do like 15 emails, come back, put stuff in pan, wait 12 minutes, do 15 emails, stuff face of carbs. Like that is just my speed. Like throw some fake meat sausage in there, call it a freaking day. I am golden. So that is to me a luxury breakfast.
Wow,
but that's because my standards are Oh yeah, they're not instant. They're 24-minute hash browns. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Don't get too judgy over there.
For a second, I was like, instant hash browns, trash. Okay.
Well, look, there were better reasons to call me trash, okay? Come on, you follow my YouTube comments. They're so much better at finding reasons I'm trash.
I have also grown up trash. I've grown up eating instant ramen or cup of noodles, and like
I have a bunch of that downstairs.
At the end of it, when I'm done with eating the noodles, like I put rice in it to like get the rest of the soup. That's trash, dude.
You almost just got tea all over my knives.
That
here,
is just garbage.
I'm gonna give you that. Yeah, that one's new to me.
That's actually a thing I'm thinking about trying, maybe in a new podcast. Is trying to have like an Are You Garbage segment, because I just love that podcast right now.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
You know what? Let's go to some other questions here. Let's go to some YouTube questions. I'd like to know if he has found his Excalibur, and which is it? That's from Professor EDC down in Mexico.
Oh, Profe. Nice.
Yeah. Really
oh, my Excalibur. Damn. I mean, let's put it this way. I ain't King of England yet, so clearly no. Probably not gonna be, as a matter of fact. In fact, I would put good money on that. But anyways, the Excalibur, I mean, in terms of like one knife to rule them all, honestly, like the TRM Neutron 2 could very easily be that for me. If somebody just said, Nick, you're done with pocket knives, here's all your money back, this is your knife you're keeping, like, it sucks. Okay, we're good. This is enough knife for me. I think this would do the trick. Simply put. And so, it could be an Excalibur, whether it's Excalibur or not. I didn't find it in a freaking rock, but, it's good enough. And so I think it's pretty close, but there were lots of other options out there. And I don't, honestly, half the reason I do this is because I don't think there is an Excalibur, right? I don't know that there's going to be, God knows if I haven't found it yet, there's probably not a knife that's just going to like get me out of the hobby. Just be like, oh yeah, no, it's okay. I got an 80-20. I'm done. Thanks. See you guys. Bye now.
That's definitely the reasoning we tell the old ball and chain and ourselves, that there is no Excalibur. We just got to try everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and like I said, that's not my, even if I find it, I'm going to keep going back and seeing if there's anything better, because that's just the nature of me. I'm an optimizer. Like, okay, yeah, I got a really great knife. Do I want to go further? Probably, but am I going to do any better? I don't really care.
That's an interesting choice, actually, because you're going to have a lot of customization options even after the fact, too. So you kind of get a new knife, kind of. Very good choice. Very good.
Oh, yeah. So I would probably say that's as close as I'm going to get, I think.
Let's take another YouTube question here. This is from Seems Logical, best commenter on YouTube. I always say that. Coming in with 10 questions.
Good Lord. Okay.
In paragraphs, Nick. Perfectly written English. I mean,
okay, here we go.
Let me pick one here. Holy crap, man. I don't even, this is, all right, let's just go with the first one. Hollywood has approached you to do a biographical movie about your life entitled Nick Shabazz, A Tale of Knives, Watches, Flashlights, and Jackassery. As a way to sweeten the deal, they are allowing you to select who will have the honor of the starring role. Who do you pick to play the role of Nick Shabazz?
Oh my God, that's a hell of a question.
I'm telling you, the guy is good, like top tier.
Oh, let me think on this one. Who would be a good choice for me? I feel like actually Joaquin Phoenix could do a pretty good impression.
He's awesome.
He is awesome. Really good. Yeah. I'm a fan of him.
That would be so good.
What the hell's his name? The guy, he was in the latest terrible Wonder Woman movie. He's in
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
He's amazing.
I like him a lot as an actor, but I think he could do it too, potentially.
Wow. Good choices, my friend.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would go with it, I think. And I think, I don't know, though. I think Joaquin Phoenix has a little bit more. he might have a little more breadth for the depth of fucked up a dude. That would be a part of that movie. So I think we're good there.
Yep, you need an eccentric guy to play eccentric us's, which is really what Knife YouTube people are. So
oh God, no, we're all well adjusted. What do you mean?
You know, for me, I think I would pick Jason Momoa, but he's not big enough to play me.
Aquaman 2. No, sorry, I'm already signed up for the Everyday City Carry. Hey, and I said your name right this time, by the way.
Yes, you said Everyday City Carry, and you tagged me on Instagram. I appreciate that, man. No, what's really cool is you doing this podcast, and this is gonna come out next week.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm like kind of campaigning to get to 2,000 subs so I can do the Hot Ones challenge again, which people really liked. Kelly asked me the question.
Challenge. Oh, that's right.
The chicken wing thing. Yeah. So we're gonna do it again, and this time I won't know the questions. Everyone's gonna email Kelly, and she's just gonna host the thing, and I'm just gonna eat spicy wings. I'm kind of psyched to do it. I did the pop challenge, and that was amazing, man. I did that live. Slicey was in there. I was like,
nice.
It was hot. It was hot. Are you good with hot food or?
Yeah, yes and no. I can say I'm good with hot food, but then I go eat Thai food and it's like, no, I'm not. And the thing is, coming to San Diego, Thai food got bumped up a notch, right?
Yeah.
Like I first really learned about Thai food while I was in Michigan. And like in Michigan, I am very easily like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 Thai food kind of guy.
Yeah.
I come to San Diego, I order 7 out of 10 and I am freaking embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like it's like I just got maced. Level of like, I'm sitting here, my wife's like, how's your food? I don't know.
Yeah, you know,
it's good though.
The ethnic ingredients, the authentic stuff, it's a little bit different. The way the spice hits, you know, that's what it is.
Well, and I go into the restaurant the next time to actually pick it up, and there on the counter, there's a little sign. By the way, 3 out of 10 is our medium. For all of you freaking gringos. They didn't say freaking gringos, but they kind of had it implied in there someplace. So, that was so like I'm okay with spice, but I can't stand up to the Thai food. Indian spice, I'm a little better at, but oof.
I love Indian food. You're a vegetarian, right?
Oh yes. Yep.
Yeah, so Indian food must be a go-to for you.
It's our freaking jam. Yeah.
I love Indian food, man. Both vegetarian and non-vegetarian options. I just love the spices they use. The food is so colorful and stuff too.
Oh yeah,
really good stuff.
My wife and I actually, for our wedding reception, there was this little hole in the wall Indian restaurant right near the park that we decided to just randomly get married in, and we just like rented the place out, which is like 6 tables, so it's not like a thing on like a Sunday that they would normally be closed. And so we just got this great, and the food was spectacular. Yeah. So we just had our wedding reception for like 10 people there, and it was amazing. Yeah, Indian food is just, that's my jam.
You know, since we did the last episode together, like I got engaged. My girl proposed to me, right? And awesome. It was so funny. She was like, hey, you know, we can get married through Zoom for $35. We thought about it for a second. We're like, look, if we do that, right, like all the money we would have gotten, maybe we could spend on the honeymoon and like, maybe, you know, we were thinking about that because like my girl is not a big wedding kind of gal. Yeah. She's kind of like just like a small group of family, get married, have like a little reception, and then, you know, use all the money that you saved to go on some crazy honeymoon. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we did. We decided, you know what, there's this little park near where we used to live. Let's just go there. Let's bring some friends and family that are really close, like, you know, not even like maid of honor. Like if you're there, you're a maid of freaking honor, right? And just like everybody stand in the park. My godfather actually read our officiated. He registered with the Universal Life Church or whatever the hell.
That's awesome.
Which was a hell of a choice, right? And you know, it was a beautiful thing, and it was like, I think all told, our entire wedding, and then we went and got cupcakes from this from a local place run by a bunch of freaking stoners, so you know it's gonna be good.
Gotta be good, right?
Man. Yeah, and so we did that, and you know, rented out this, like the entire wedding, all of it, every last bit was like $900 or something like that.
Wow.
And it was just like, because, you know, we're not renting out a park. It was like 20 minutes. We're standing there and like, and luckily it stopped raining just in time too. But it was
incredible.
spectacular. So, and then we used the money to go to freaking Scotland, right? That was the win. So
that's awesome. Did you meet any people with like some crazy accents, even though they were speaking English, you couldn't understand them?
We were the people like that.
Oh,
like imagine me in Scotland.
Because I've seen some videos
what are you talking about?
of Scottish people. Like, I watched this podcast called Your Mom's House, and they do this thing called Master of Accents. And like, there was a Scottish guy, like he was speaking English, but I had no idea what he was saying. I'm good with accents too.
Yeah.
It was just like crazy. So I was wondering if you met anyone like that.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. And we were like up in Inverness, that area. So like right on Loch Ness actually for a bit, not like staying on Loch Ness, we ain't that bougie, but still like, you know, it was so like everyone there was just like, holy crap, are you Scottish? And they're like, holy crap, are you American? And it just kind of meshed, right?
That's
like
funny.
You're not from around here. What makes you say that? Oh, the way you turned into the wrong side of our parking lot. Oh, that.
You do like a good, bad, and ugly about Scotland, like to somebody.
Oh my God, driving on the wrong damn side of the road was not a. And like all the lanes are like, I'm in this micro little freaking rental car, and I'm like, oh wow, great! I'm gonna be in the middle of the lane. This is gonna be amazing. Nope, the lanes are just like 3 feet freaking wide on these mountain freaking. Oh boy, that was an experience.
Yeah, in the Philippines, man, same thing. Like to get to my town, you have to go down a mountain. And like some parts of it, there's no railing, dude. Yeah. And you have to like take a bus and like ride down, and like it's so neck and neck. And it's like, oh man, it's scary.
Where people have to stop to let somebody go.
And the bus driver is like initial drifting the mountain. He's done it so many times. I'm like, bro, relax. There's no guardrail. Like you're gone.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a bus. At least you'll fall slowly, right? Oh boy, yeah.
Let's take another
like experience.
YouTube question from Me with Knives here, a good supporter of the channel. When is the next Thrifty Thursday? Maybe not in Melee. I don't know why he said that.
Melee was a thing. I did
okay. And would the reigning champ get an automatic bid?
Automatic bid?
I don't know.
I have no idea what that even means.
Maybe he's automatically in it. The reigning champ was the Cryo. Was it the Cryo that you?
No, the reigning champ ended up being the Rat 2.
Oh, the Rat 2. Yes,
the Cryo versus the Rat 2 in the final. The Cryo wouldn't rate these days, honestly.
Yeah. Now there's so many knives like that are crazy good.
Yeah, like I mean, an assisted action in 2020, no, that doesn't even make sense anymore. I filed that in the if I had time, I would so do that. I would love to do a budget knife competition again where I just kind of go through all of the options. That would be spectacular. But the budget market has so much damn turnover that if I do it one week, there are going to be 50 new entrants from Civivi. The next, like, Tuesday morning, I got 4 more entries.
Like the whole and cut and CJRP.
Exactly. And they're just going back and forth. And the funny thing is, like, people have no perspective on this. Like week 2, I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, oh my God, how are you not considering the Civivi Coblabity Blur? That came out last weekend and it's not in here. You've been bought off by Spyderco. It's like there aren't even any Spydercos in this. Shut up. Where are you getting? So I'd love to do it is the answer, but I don't know that I'm going to have the time to do it, because when I end up with time, it's just like I look at the end of my desk and I have just like 50 knives sitting there waiting, staring at me like, review me. Yeah, I'm like,
I've got like knife rolls now to keep the stuff that I have to, do something with. Because it's getting difficult, man. Like there was knives just all over the desk, and my girl uses it to take pictures of plants. She sells succulents. Shout out to Happy Go Sucky on Instagram. Not sexual, but great name. And she sells succulents. Let's do another question.
Sorry, I'm gonna need a moment after that one.
Happy Go Sucky, great name, great gal, very funny girl.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. I have appreciated your podcast with the 2 of you on there.
I'm gonna do an Ask the Kelly because I was inspired.
Oh God, yes.
I showed her that, and she was like, "Yeah, doing, because we actually do a podcast on Patreon every Sunday.
Oh,
And
interesting.
we just watch like really terrible videos on Reddit and stuff, and like people are into it. So yeah, it's stuff that I probably wouldn't show on YouTube. You know, like people like getting into accidents and like
You're gonna have to join my Patreon for this one too, hot.
It's like borderline.
Oh, I'm not gonna let you see what's on my wrist today. Did you saw that I got thrown in Instagram horny jail for that recently?
That.
Yes. Oh, that was hilarious.
I can't.
Happy go sucky is no problem.
No, I mean, look, man, shout out to Titty Patina Knives, bro. I mean, she gets censored too. She told me that I have problems too sometimes. I'm like,
okay,
but I've seen like worse, or not worse, but I've seen like more naked. Is it nakeder? Like,
yeah, like, if I were a Kardashian, no one would be giving me any crap for saying, oh, if you want to see what's on my wrist, you'll have to join Patreon.
I can't believe that you got flagged for that, man.
Yeah, and it was like 5 minutes. I sent like really? And then I think they had a human look at it and go like, dumbass, yeah, you're fine.
You gotta do like an R-rated, an X-rated, like OnlyFans, like only watch.
Yeah, no, people keep telling me to do an OnlyHands. Yeah, which and look, I want to be very clear. There is no shame for me towards people hustling that way. Shit, if I were hot, it'd be way easier than content creation, right?
In my Patreon, it literally says in the top tier where you pay $100 a month, I will send dick pics, I will send feet pics. Like that is the exact text. Now, no one's paid it. Like people have paid $20.
Okay, I was going to ask how this is working out for you.
And I've had
my tier structure.
I've had people that were like, you know what? I was gonna pay the 100, but I don't want to see your dick. I have a strategy for that, by the way. I have a strategy for that. I'm not gonna for the dick, because dick can mean a lot of things. You know what I mean? Feet can mean a lot of things. So, but anyway, no one's done it. So it was just a joke. I thought people would laugh about it. Let's do another Instagram question. This one is from Carlos.
Let's move on.
I know, right?
Before we get the feet pick territory, let's move on.
Carlos EDC on Instagram. What other hobby are you into, non-EDC gear?
Oh, I am a gigantic freaking nerd. Whoa, what a shock! So I do like a lot of computing stuff. One of my sources of joy is just like finding new and weird free software for things. Mm-hmm. So like, I do a lot of not programming in that, like I'm not actually a programmer, but I do a lot of scripting to make things easier in my life. I have weird, software solutions. So like I will spend days not like hacking in the Russia at the moment sense, but hacking in the sense of configuring all sorts of things to make my computer run weirdly. So, cool. That for me, I think is another hobby, I'd say.
Yeah, I do that from my phone, man. I just get like new apps that makes things like set up easier, or like that, like to be able to copy text off of YouTube and shit like that. Just like weird stuff,
Why is this hard? Right?
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just let you copy off YouTube, like text, like
yeah,
so
dumb.
Let's see here. What knife would win your heart over? This is from Ohio Knife Lover, by the way.
Okay.
What knife would win your heart over, an upgraded Z Hunter and Tie and M4, or the original Z Hunter? I don't know what that means. What do you mean? Don't you have the original?
This actually isn't the original Z Hunter. This is a no, this isn't even Robbie. This is a Z Hunter, but I think what he's talking about is, what if I could redo this in modern materials with like M4 steel, titanium? And to be fair, I do kind of have that. My Patreon patrons made it a thing. The Bee Hunter.
The Bee Hunter. Is it like actually an okay knife, or?
It's actually quite good. It's a Benchmade, and that's the embarrassing thing is like it's a Benchmade Barrage full size sort of affair, but it's full on assisted action and everything like that. Serrated, they did M4, like they paid them, like a bunch of patrons just randomly did this, and like Benchmade ended up reaching out to me through an intermediary to basically say, wait, really? Like, yeah, really.
That's
but yeah, it's actually a good knife. Like I will put this in my pocket for home improvement-y days.
Yeah.
which is, and I shouldn't admit that publicly, but so I kind of do have the high-end Z Hunter, and it has won my heart, but that's because it's a gift from my patrons, right?
Right.
And they didn't even demand feet pics, although actually that's kind of a thing on my Discord anyways. So
that's only feet, No, you know
yeah,
what? Back to the
exactly.
Z Hunter, actually.
Yes.
I have a story has been told to me by the homie Blade Chops, and you really made this high school student's day. You sent him an autographed Z Hunter.
Yeah.
You sent 2 of them to Blade Chops, who's a teacher. I think he was a music teacher or something like that.
Yep, I
And you
think
sent
so.
it to a kid, and like he was crying and stuff. I don't know if you know about this story. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. He told me that. He was on my podcast, and he said, you know what, this is what Nick Shabazz did, and that kid, he was crying. Like he said that him and that kid who he was teaching, they bonded because the kid saw a pocket clip sticking out of his jeans, and he knew what knife it was.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's an awesome story of the knife community right there, man. You made that kid's day, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful thing. I was very glad to do that, and that was back in the day when these weren't rare, which is
wait, are they
which is
rare
not
now?
a sentence. They are. They discontinued
Holy
this
crap.
And then I moved to a new model, and they killed that model too. So I think they were trying to send a message.
Yo, that's
so
crazy.
Unfortunately, the original Z Hunters are in short supply now. But yeah, no, that was a very if I can use my platform to bring a couple of people joy on occasion, that's a win to me. Right? That the world needs more joy generally. So
there's actually a question that's kind of has to do with that. Let me see. Let me see if I could find it. Shit. You know what? I don't know who submitted this, but I know it was something like, are we going to see a Nick Shabazz design like knife?
Yeah. This is a really common question. It's a fair question. I have a lot of offers on the table. A lot of people have said to me, Nick, if you want to do this, we're happy to work with you. And I don't rule it out. The thing that would have to happen, though, in order for that to become a thing, is I'd have to make something I don't hate. And every time I draw, like, okay, imagine how bad it is to design a knife that I would like. Now imagine not being a knife designer and trying to do that.
That's hard,
right?
Man.
Yeah, so everything that I kind of draw out, I end up hating in some variety or another. Or it ends up, I realize, like, I just drew the Monterey Bay EZC, or something like that, where it's just like, so I'm not opposed. It's an idea that's definitely crossed my mind. And, I definitely know, there have been some very nice makers that I'd be very happy to work with on that. But in order for me to do that, I would need to be able to, this is kind of like asking a prominent food critic, but this is like asking a food critic, when are you going to make dinner? It's like, that's not what I do exactly, but I could probably do okay, I guess. But for the moment, it's not in the cards. I don't have any designs pending or anything like that. And, if I could work with a designer, there's maybe a better chance of that. But still,
is there one you have in mind that comes, to the top of your head that you think would do
in terms of companies?
Well, or designer rather, that you think would do
I don't know. I mean,
conveying your thoughts on paper or something.
Honestly, I'm really torn, right? Because at some level, I think like Ray Laconico's designs do speak to me in a very real way, because it's very utilitarian, very straightforward. But on the other end, like Elijah Isham would be a freaking hoot to work with.
I love Isham stuff, man.
I love Isham stuff too. Even when I don't love it, I love it, right? Yeah. And so, I know him as not super well, but we've hung out some, and he's a freaking joy as a human, right?
Yeah,
and so I would love to work with him on something like that, but at the same time, I don't know that we would have that much compatibility. So I don't know.
The logos would be sick to put together. A gem with a mustache on it. That would be camp. I mean, come on.
You kind of making a good sale there.
Millionaire.
Or like Eric Glesser would be another person, right? I mean, that would be so there were a lot of options out there, but honestly, at some level though, there's an element at which I have so much respect for these people that it's like, I don't know that I belong at their table, so to speak. I mean, I certainly, anyone can be a knife designer, but at a very real level, like, what gives me the right to sit down with an Elijah Isham, with a Ray Laconico, with an Eric Glesser and say, hey, but then again, what gives me the right to complain about their work already? Nothing, but that doesn't stop me. So here we are, right?
Oh, man. Let's look for some other stuff here. All right. Let's see. I just got to the comment that said hard pass. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And look, to be fair, I get it.
Hard pass. I'm like, why would you do that though? Like, if I'm asking for questions,
well, maybe that's his question. Like, should you be doing this, Rye? Don't you have better taste than this? Can you book no one better?
This is a good one. I found a good one right here. Daily Carry Solutions. Are there any certified gems you revisited and found they lost their status?
I don't have as much time to revisit knives as I'd like to.
Yep.
But like the Delica actually is a nice example of this, because this was an amazing $65 knife. And now in 2022, 2021, it's probably going to be like $150, right?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know that for sure. I'm just saying they keep raising prices. And so it's been very often the case that something can be an amazing thing at one price, but then it gets shifted into a different price bracket. And it's just like, VG10 for $80, $90 is just not that impressive anymore. But then again, I get one in, K390, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's right. That's why I like that knife. Yeah. So, it's tough to say, but I think price hikes are the thing that most often pull things out of the gem category to me. Yeah. Or just, like the Cryo is another nice example of that. That's a design that was really good at the time. And I think but it just didn't age that well, because a lot of the stuff that they were doing, hard assist, steel frame lock, just the competition got so much better. And I think this is something that every maker needs to keep in mind, is when you stand still, you fall behind.
Yep.
And so if you're comparing the best design of, 2015, to, what was it? I think I said this about the Norseman, right? That this was the very best knife of 2015.
Yeah.
Or whatever, 2017, I think I said. But, if you don't move forward, it's very easy to fall behind.
Yeah.
And especially if your prices keep going up. And so I don't know. I think that's where things often fall down, is in price hikes, and just when the competition, especially in the budget end, just gets so fierce.
Do you see yourself purchasing more higher end stuff now, or still kind of like a mix and match kind of thing?
I think mix and match is really where I find myself, because look, it brings me joy to end up with some high end stuff like this Artisan here. This is, $1,100 knife. That's not cheap by any freaking stretch of the imagination. I think it's
what
worth
is that?
It. It's really
Alliance?
good.
Is that Alliance?
Yeah, did I say Artisan?
You said Artisan. I was like, man, Artisan's got 11 hundo. Whoa.
No, this is an Alliance Designs Knives Mini, the Slim Pickens. This is the half dress version. And this is a high-end knife by any stretch. Nice. And yet at the same time, I also get a lot of joy out of this little Laconico guy that's, $180, $200, something like that. Or, this little Civivi.
The McKenna.
Civivi, the McKenna in
That's
brass.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and so it's like, I think it's important to me that I keep that mix of just like, this is great, but you know what? So is this, but you know what? So is this, but you know what? So is this, all of these things, or the Neutron, $200. And that. So I see myself probably ending up with some more high-end stuff from time to time, but I really do hope to see more mid-range stuff that is just good enough that it's like, like this guy, the EWC is not all that pricey, but oh my freaking God, is it good?
Yeah, that's the one with the double detent, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I love that one, man. That was so nice.
It is such a nice piece.
So
and they're doing a new one too.
Yeah? A bigger one or same size?
It's with a weird blade. It's, what the hell is it called? Monterey Bay just posted a picture of it today on their Instagram. So Maybe on the TikTok too. I don't know. I haven't checked. Might have been doing a little dance with it, and then making sure that they flip it so you can't see the tip.
What's crazy, right? Is like I feel like every niche has taken advantage of that platform because even though there are a lot of cringy videos on there, there are a lot of videos that I watch and I'm like, man, these people are freaking talented. Like these photographers or even like there are like metal workers on there and like smiths and stuff. Like just like I forgot the guy's name. He's got like 650,000 followers and he's just like, like making knives basically, right?
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
I don't know where I was going with this. The whiskey has like made it slip my mind right now. TikTok is good. You should try it. I guess that's the message.
I just called this an artisan, so we're both in rough. We're in rough shape here, Rob.
Let's take a couple of more questions and then we'll get you out of here. I think Kelly is like peeking in. You know what I mean? Let's do another one from Seems Logical here. He's got good ones.
Okay.
We've already done that. This is like a totally off the, not even a knife EDC question. And I guess I'll answer this too. You and your wife have a healthy relationship. What do you think are the key parts that make it work so well? I got my answer. I want to know what yours is right now. Because I am actually a terrible relationship. I think I am a terrible like significant other, but like all right, we'll see what you got going on first.
So
especially with our hobby and concentration and all that, that's a whole other a wrench thrown into the mix there.
Absolutely. Look, my wife and I so our courtship had all the romance of a U.S.-Soviet arms reduction treaty circa 1964, right? As we were first, both she and I, we've got some issues, right? I got some daddy issues. She got some daddy issues. We mesh, right? But as a result, I think both of us are very... we're both very strong communicators, I think, is the biggest thing that we've got going for us, because we're both so freaking busted up that it's like, hey, honey, hey, when are you seeing your therapist again? And she's saying that to me, by the way, no shame on me. But just like, you gotta be when you, because both of us come from weird backgrounds, right? Both of us have had some trouble, and both of us have seen more bad relationships in our lives than good ones. And so we've both had to make really strong efforts to not do that, right? To not be that person to each other. And, to be kind, to be warm, to be safe, and to take the steps required, and to be understanding of that fact. Even when it doesn't, when it's not the normal way of things. I mean, we dated for a while before we even thought about moving in together. And that's because both of us were like, slowly moving our way together. I don't know. I don't think she's going to kill me. But, and it's paranoia, but still, it's a thing. So I think the biggest thing that you can come away from this is like, we're both really fucked up, but we're fucked up in compatible ways.
Yeah.
Like our weird meshes. Like her weird works well with my weird. And as a result, it works. And we're trying to communicate always. And say, hey, honey, you know what? You just did, this just happened. And you know what? I don't care for that. Can we work on that, or vice versa? And so I think that's where the communication, insofar as there is a solution, that one seems to be it for me. That, and find somebody whose weird mesh is yours.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. Kelly and I are like, definitely went through our own stuff, like individually, but and we're always like so funny, man. Like I'm always just laughing with her all the time. We're always joking around. Like I feel like ever since I got together with her, I feel like I've been funnier on my own channel, because like we're always like one-lining, joking around with each other. Even when things are kind of sad, like we pick each other up and stuff. And it's just communication for sure. Like you don't let, in other relationships I've had, like you would let stuff kind of linger on, and it just builds and builds, and then you explode, and that's not good, So definitely communication is the thing, man.
And laughter, sharing experiences, even if that's just making fun of some random thing, like, there's a joy there. So, and just thinking about, Good God. I can't believe I'm about to go there. There's a book that there's a whole theory basically called the 5 love languages.
I know. I've talked about that with Kelly.
Okay, good. I'm not the first person to bring it up on my podcast.
It's not. So listen, like that is a true thing because she and I definitely love in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like she's like that cuddler type, and like I am just like I'm more like a gift giving kind of dude.
Yeah.
Kind of, or like, you know, like, hey, like I come home and I'm like, hey man, I got you this fucking new bubble tea that spot that I just saw. Like I was thinking of you and I bought it, and there's this like Japanese mochi spot that, you know, and then I'll give it to her, or like something like that, or like, hey, get dressed, like meet me here, like just spontaneously. That's like how I do it. Nice. And she's like just constant like affection and cuddling and stuff. And I'm not down with that all the time. You know what I mean? I'm like, get away from me. Yeah, no, seriously. Sometimes I'm like, stop sweating me. You know what I mean? Like, but it matches. Like, I understand that that's what she needs. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. That's a real thing, man. The love language thing.
It is.
That's real.
The book itself is a little weird in places, but
a little
like
frou sometimes.
It's a little frou-frou, and it's a little bit like, no, that's abusive. That's not love language differences. Your advice should not be power through it, honey. No, but at the same time, I think there's a very strong kernel of truth there, and I think understanding that about yourself and about others can be very nice. And, you know, the other thing is we match on some of the big fundamentals, right? Like neither of us want kids. That's a big one, right? You know, because that can be a major relationship breaker for people, but it's like, you don't want kids? Me neither. Great. Let's go get snipped together.
For me, that is a thing right now because my girl's like whole, you know, quest in life is to have kids, and she wants these Asian babies, and I'm telling her to freeze her eggs. Like I'm building an empire. Like freeze your eggs, baby.
Freeze your eggs.
Yeah, you know, like I promise I'll stay like, you know, but like, give me 5 more years or something. I'm gonna stay strong, you know, just let me work a little bit.
No, that's a whole affair, and that's a thing that makes people that can be a major wedge, unfortunately.
What knife was that you had just now?
Oh, this is the Gerber knives Century.
I was like, is that the Gerber?
That is a Gerber. Yeah, it's actually better than I thought. Right? It's got a weird integral brass washer in there.
Yeah. You just did you put out the video for that yet, or?
No, I didn't put out a video yet. I just took this damn thing apart like yesterday.
He linked it.
But it's he says live disassembling the thing.
Yeah.
Check this out. This washer is a part of the blade.
What?
Like they have embedded this brass washer into the matrix of the blade itself.
So what is that, like shrink fit in or something?
Yeah, I think it's just press fit in there. And as a result, it's like,
is it nice?
Like, they actually went pretty damn extra on this.
Whoa.
Like, like I did this disassembly, like, okay, access lock disassembly, done this a million times. Here we go. All right. Hey, everybody, Nick here.
Dude,
and then I take this thing open, and it's just like, what the hell? Really, Gerber? Okay.
I know, right?
So I got respect for some of the folks there. They're doing good work. He says, trying to put this thing back together live. That's going to go well.
I'm sorry.
We've gone from love languages to pivot bushing.
I know. I wonder if people have already tuned out. Like,
like, what the heck is this guy talking about?
What the heck is this? This is Sex in the City?
Yeah, freaking vegetarian. Hey, that show was not all bad. I know more about Sex in the City than I care to admit. The wife has a bit of a thing for it. Anyways, I digress.
Let's do one last question, and we'll get you out of here. This is the Nick Shabazz accent is one that has been imitated by several other knife channels. I'm sure you've seen a few of those impressions, and I'd like to know who you think does the best impression of you.
Who does the best Nick Shabazz impression? So I actually did a contest for this.
Yeah,
back when
I remember Cedric and Ada.
Yeah, he didn't really try the accent so much, but he did this amazing postmodern thing. God, when he's on his game, he is so good.
He did the Pete. That was the first time we saw Pete doing his thing.
Oh my God, that was astounding. Oh, there was so many really good entries there. In terms of like Metal Complex's one was pretty endearing. Do you have a Nick Shabazz impression?
You know what's funny is Ben Banter's.
Yeah.
Ben Peterson was on the
Yeah.
podcast, and I remember I was talking about your interview with him.
Oh.
and I went like this. Oh my god! And he's like, wait, do that again? That wasn't bad.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hear your Nick Shabazz impression. Go for it.
No, I mean that's exactly what I said. I was like, oh my god! I was like,
I support this.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, you know, some people like I remember, I think it was Metal Complex did this, like his patrons goaded him into doing a Nick Shabazz impression, and he felt all bad about it. Like, Nick, I did this live. I hope it was okay. I'll take the video down. And it was just like, if somebody gives enough of a damn to imitate me,
yeah,
that's flattering, right? That means I made some weird little impact on your life. And even when the haters are like, "Hey, everybody, Nick here, look at my tiny hands."
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. You know, it's like, okay, I have no beef with that. So I love it. I am greatly, I think I've told this story before of, you know, at Blade Show having some random fan talking to Frankie and Bird, who I was there with, and they had no idea that I was Nick Shabazz standing right there. And they're doing their Nick Shabazz impression for Frankie and Bird, who are goading them on. And I'm just over here desperately trying not to crap myself out of laughter. And it's just like, oh my God. So, you know, I appreciate anybody who's willing to do one, and I will give credit wherever due, without trying to judge the best, the worst, the good, the great, the bad, or the ugly.
You know, speaking of Complex, right?
Yeah,
man, that dude is like a gentle giant, you know, because he's jacked,
he's great.
But he's like so nice, like the complete opposite of what I would think or judge him, you know, by his looks. Like I would be like, this guy's just like a meathead, and he's like a total nerd. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like you take one look,
awesome.
Like, okay, he's gonna beat me up in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, no, he's a freaking, and I think he wouldn't mind my saying he's a freaking sweetheart, right?
He is totally.
He's a wonderful person. I've been very, very glad to get to know him a little bit better, and you know, the community is there were lots. And by the way, you're a freaking gem too.
Oh man,
getting to know you better in the chat, in the chat and just in this generally is been a joy. I love seeing people in the community here, each bringing their own voices, each bringing their own styles, each bringing, and you know, whoever sticks around, it's a joy. So there's room for a lot of folks in here, and I think Metal Complex has found his niche, and I think you're finding one too.
With help from people like you, man, it's definitely things are getting rolling. That's what it feels like. It feels like there's a wave. You know what I mean? There's like a wave, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on, but I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And
the growth is not steady. Remember that the distance between 0 and 2,000 is very different than the distance between 2,000 and 100,000, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, what are you at right now? Like 123?
Oh, yeah, something like that. 120 some odd. It's nuts. That's a number that's a number I don't even believe at this point. It's like, okay, whatever, YouTube.
Because if you think about, like, you know, Joe Rogan, what happened to your camera?
Just gotta flex a little bit, right? You know.
Oh yeah. Oh man, the play button. Oh snap! No, I can see your face. Get away! Don't do it. I don't want to see it.
It's like Indiana Jones.
I know people
will just melt off.
People are gonna like crop it and like try to zoom in and like expose who you are.
I get so many DMs from people like, oh my God, Nick, I zoomed in and I enhance in your ring in this video. And I saw, we can clearly see here that you might be a Caucasian male. It's like, wow.
That's hilarious.
Well done, Sherlock. And people, look, there are places where you can see it in videos. And it's like, okay, you win. Right? I mean, I've basically been doxxed already, dude. If you need the information, it's out there. But,
wait, have you been doxxed?
Yeah.
You have?
What? Yep. Yeah.
Whoa.
Not completely, but enough information was given out to a wide group of people such that things could be found. But luckily that person eventually decided to back it down, calm themselves, and
Whoa.
but it was not a beautiful thing. But at the same time, look, I mean, I'm the reason I keep it private. My boss freaking knows.
Yeah.
Right. My boss watches the channel and makes fun of my model hands at this point. So it's not like I'm in danger from it. It's just like I want to keep things separated. That's all. And I think the vast majority of viewers, there will always be jerks, but the vast majority of viewers are perfectly willing to just go like, yeah, okay, cool. You pick, have fun. And just be who I am. Let me be who I am here, so to speak. So that's a beautiful thing.
You know what? And we're going to end it on that note, man. It has been an absolute blast. I feel like it was so much of a smoother vibe since we've gotten to know each other. It's very like loose and stuff. And I just truly appreciate like what you've done for the community and like the friendship you've given me. And just thanks for doing this, man. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah. And like I said, anytime I can get a laugh in 2020, that's a beautiful thing. And you sent in the baby bird thing that you sent in the chat today. Oh my God, man.
That's what we do all the time. Like my girl and I, that was just like, that's just how we are. It's just, you know what it is? If you know Neves Knives, right? We are like an R-rated, almost X-rated version of them. Because they love each other. They're a couple. They're, doing
we
these
get
videos.
It. You have an OnlyFans. We're okay here. Thank you.
I told my girl, I was like, dude, you're almost, you're 4'10", you're almost a little person. You could do OnlyFans and get into midget porn. And some dwarf porn, make some money,
Oh, absolutely.
She's like, my parents would never forgive me. I'm like, 4'10", that's just the borderline. Oh, man. Nick,
I apologize deeply to her. But
it has been a pleasure, buddy. It has been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you.
And Happy New Year to you.
You have a good night, okay?
You too. Bye.
Take care.
Yo, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so we can squad up in the comments.